What's going on? It's your boy DameSmiff, and this evening we're going to talk about how you can be a popular, terrible musician. And so, if you're interested in conversations like this, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. I will be having more videos like this coming out. But what is a popular, terrible musician? So, popularity is obviously, somebody we all can know of or have heard of or can think of when we say of certain thing, certain title, or certain reference, right? But the thing we need to remember is that popularity has very little to do with talent or skill or accuracy. So you can, you know, blow up a building and we all would hear it and see it, but we will never know if you built it in the dark of night. You will never know. So doing something doesn't make you popular. Everybody hearing about it makes you popular. So that's kind of the thing you want to understand when it comes to why people are popular and still can be very bad at the thing they do. Is you can be what's the word I'm looking for? Infamous. You can be infamous. So the thing is, for musicians, it can be kind of difficult to understand because, as I've said before in this channel, a lot of times you will have musicians that aren't as talented as each other, but they will be able to maneuver the industry and be successful because of other things that make up for it. So you'll have somebody who's famous on Instagram, but not that good at singing. Somebody who can dance really well, but not that good at singing. Somebody who's a really nice person and does a lot of charitable work, but not that good at singing. And so one of those things that if you are an artist, it can be frustrating to learn and kind of like deal with and navigate, especially if you're a competitive person. But it is something that you have to kind of wrap your mind around. And so that's what we're going to do today. So if it is something that you feel is bothering you or you feel like should change, let me know in the comments. But in my opinion, I think it's really something that it's at the fault of, or not the fault, but the responsibility of the audience. I think the audience is going to be the ones to kind of dictate whether or not they value talent over, excitement or popularity or emotional driven art. And so for me, learning that, it was too difficult and frustrating to learn. But it's one of those things that once you kind of realize that it's just the way of the world, like it's just how it is, you kind of appreciate that understanding. You appreciate, I mean, understanding that. And so now we can look at artists who are really, really, really popular and doing really well, and then see why they're really popular and why they're doing really well. And so if you see somebody that you like and you're enjoying and somebody else is critiquing them and you don't agree with it, understanding the things that we're saying right now can make that conversation a little more clear and bring clarity to where you sit in that understanding. There is no real right or wrong to whether or not you should be popular for your talent or if you should be popular because, let's say, you're just, cute or handsome. Like, no real right or wrong answer to that. It's just whether or not we truly support the things we say we support. And so when I think about like bands, for example, I'm sure that's probably a thing that pops up a lot of times where there may be a member of the band that the audience doesn't think as is as talented as others, or maybe there's a member that is more popular than other members, but how that's measured is very difficult to figure out because it can be based, like if you're in a boy band, just based off of looks. If you're in a girl band, it could be based off of actual talent. We never really know. So for you as an artist, how do you navigate that? Like, how do you figure out, all right, this is what I want to do, and I want to make sure I get the most out of it? Well, the key thing, again, you have to, I'm going to kind of reiterate this, you have to go back to your principles that you were raised with and try to figure out how you want the audience to value the thing you're presenting. So if you're a young woman who wants to sing, let's say opera music, and you come from a certain background, certain culture, in a certain household, that's going to shape how the world looks at that because of how the world looks at who you are as an individual, not how you sing. The way you sing shines a light on who you are. And that's kind of the part that becomes frustrating for a lot of younger musicians because most younger musicians don't have the life experience to kind of present something that's interesting or entertaining or captivating to the world other than their lack of experience. So when you see a young star, a young movie star, a young singer, an actress, or rapper, they usually have a lot of like passion behind what they're doing, as far as like, I'm the greatest, or look at me, I'm going to be doing really good. It's because if you turn that off, if you turn all the music and turn the lights down, they don't have much there as far as grasping your attention, because you're just not interested in, the world of a teenager or a 19-year-old. You're not interested in the woes and heartbreaks of a 22-year-old, unless it has the passion of like a fucking soundtrack behind it. So once you realize that, again, I said as a younger artist, it can be kind of frustrating because you put in all the work to be talented only to be snubbed by your lack of character and lack of personality. Whereas on the other side, there are some people who have so much personality that they have never really needed or were charged with actually pursuing a higher level of skill or talent. And so that could be like a pretty girl who, uses her body instead of her musical talent. It can be a guy who just seems tough and he's not really a good rapper. He can be a handsome guitar player that only plays four chords. Like you can find ways to make yourself successful around your lack of talent. But again, that really has to work when you have other things to make up for it. So this is something that's not really easy to do as a younger artist. For younger artists, that's usually like I said, doing like pranks or TikTok reels or trying to go viral, and then we realize, oh yeah, you're not that good at your musical skill set. And so how do you make sure you're under control or in some kind of like way to manage this as an artist? Well, typically what most artists wind up doing is they kind of interwoven the musical side of their life into their lifestyle. So you'll see like singers that'll sing live in front of people, but they will maybe just bring their own instrument. So that way, when they're on stage, they can kind of have a more intimate performance and things like that. Other people will take their performances and their musical talents and move it online and make content out of it. So, like, you can take my channel, for example. Like, I'll post videos of me playing the piano, videos like this where I'm having conversations about music, or you'll see me having conversations about other musicians. So, that's one way you can kind of take a peek into my knowledge about music and understand my personality and see how I deliver my knowledge, and also see my expression of music. And then I guess another way we can think of would be like how you package your life or your personality, and that can be done in a multiple different ways. Like you can do short films. I've seen people do that where a music video is, instead of a 2-minute song, more like a 4-minute, short film with music woven into it. Other people have done standalone short films where it has nothing to do with music and more so to do with kind of shining a light on their personality and their work ethic. But these are just kind of ways that have been done before. You really want to find ways that connect directly to your audience. So if you're a rapper, most people connect with rappers off of the skill set and the idea that they are connected to the other rappers that are making music. So if you're, on Instagram Live, you could be rapping on Instagram Live, but we're not really going to pay you for that. But it would be nice to hear your opinion on maybe songs you've made, songs you've heard, other artists, and things like that. Now, the only thing you can run into is people disagreeing with you, but you have to be ready for that because that's the real world. Not everybody's going to agree with you. So, if this was something you think you are struggling with, or maybe you want to just learn more and kind of unpack, then make sure you leave a comment below because we will have more conversations like this. And I do want you guys to make sure you're liking, sharing, and subscribing. But I will be out and see you tomorrow night, y'all. Peace.